Welcome to Beyond Barber School. I am your host, Barbara Doza. This podcast, Beyond Barber School, is a space where listeners will hear stories from barbers, educators, and founders that are elevating the barbering industry in and out of the barbershop. Our hope here is to empower barbers with the knowledge necessary to take a courageous next step in their barber journey. Welcome to Beyond Barber School. We are doing a mini-series called The Guideline. This mini-series is where I'll share my perspective on a specific topic and get very, very practical. Hope here is still the same, that you'll hear my story, a little bit more about my journey, and ultimately be empowered with knowledge to take a strategic next step in your business. I hope you enjoy the series called The Guideline. Today, the topic is, where should I work? So we're getting you ready for Beyond Barber School. One of the biggest things you got to decide is, where are you going to work? Now, before we dive into some practical, advice that I'd love to share, I just want to say this is an amazing opportunity that you're in when you are in barber school and you haven't necessarily signed the contract, or you haven't, declared your intent to go to the draft, right? You're in this period where you're really a free agent, right? And you get a chance to do some research. It's a huge opportunity for you. This is the only opportunity where you haven't worked at a barbershop officially as a licensed barber. And so what I just want you to know, I really hope you take advantage of this time. For me, when I was in barber school and I was nearing the end and I started thinking about, where should I work? I mad nerded out. I am a huge data person and analytics person. And so I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to get to know the barbershops in my city. If I don't know someone, then it's time to maybe go introduce myself to them. Just let them know I'm a barber student. I'm going to be this is my graduation date, just to set some expectations for the shop owners in the city so I can kind of get on their radar and start a conversation. And so, hopefully you have a network of barbers in your city that can help you start filling in the gaps that will help you make the best possible decision for you, fresh out of barber college. And so this opportunity, to me, I had a spreadsheet that I still actually have. And as I was doing research, I wanted to really see the facts about each barbershop, and I could just compare what I felt would be the best decision for me. So some things that I looked for, again, mentioning this is an opportunity for you to do a great research and get to know, the shops that are in your city. One of the first things I did was just, what's the price of a haircut, right? Or how much is rent? Is it booth rent? Do you pay daily? Do you pay weekly? Do you pay monthly? Is it a commission shop? What's the commission split, right? And then on average, how many haircuts does each barber do? What is, a barber who's been, the shop owner might be the busiest one, or look at one of the other barbers who's been there for a while. They might be the busier one that are cutting, the most amount of clients in a day. But what about the new barbers? How many clients are some of the newer barbers seeing? So you can start to map out, all right, this is the price of the haircut. This is on average how many haircuts I'm going to give in a day. So this is how much money I'm going to make. And then I subtract, rent. So you can start to actually see, projected out, what's my actual revenue, what's my actual income that I'm actually making, right? Your net income. Because, a shop might look amazing from the outside, but until you start to, kind of get these facts, now you'll know how much money am I actually going to make here? Is this a good place for me? So anyways, all to say is this is a great opportunity, I think, for you to map out the opportunities in your city, and just to do your due diligence to figure out, where might be the best place for you. So I just wanted to say, this is a great opportunity for you. This opportunity only comes one time. You're only in barber school one time. You're only graduating one time, and you really only have the opportunity to go introduce yourself to a shop owner and say, hey, I'm a barber student. I'm graduating this date, and I'm going to start looking for shops. I just want to introduce myself. Once you're out, now you have loyalties to certain shops, and let's be 100 about it. Once you join a shop, it's hey, I work over here. things can start to get interesting. If you're going to jump shop and go to another place down the street or on another block, or it can start, hopefully there's not bad blood or anything like that if you make those types of changes, because obviously those changes happen. But that's why I think it's important to really consider this decision on the front end, because where you work first, and the relationships that you're building can, it's a big decision, I say. It's a big decision. You don't want to make bad relationships or decide you go with one shop and then change your mind and go somewhere else because you didn't necessarily do the research. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into. So let's get into some practicals now. But I just wanted to make that point of this is an amazing opportunity for you if you're in this period of nearing graduation and you haven't figured out where you want to go. How can, I just want to help you think about where you should work at Beyond Barber School. So first step is create a portfolio. So we like to call Instagram is like the LinkedIn of barbering, right? It's the network. So make sure that your portfolio represents your work. So you want to have then this is before you start reaching out to shops to network with them, because honestly, one of the first things that they're going to do is they'll probably look at your Instagram and they want to see what kind of haircuts do you do? And if you reach out to someone and you don't actually have any photos of your work, then the first thing they'll probably do is hey, can you send me pictures of your work? It's just a pretty natural thing to do. If you apply to a job, they're going to want your resume. Us barbers, when you apply to a shop, they're going to want to see pictures of your haircut. So first, I'd say is start curating an Instagram feed that represents your style. You want to put different types of haircuts on your page. So make sure you have tapers and fades, skin fade, skin taper, not necessarily all the way down to the skin though, 1-2 fade, or just mix it up, right? Have different hair textures and hair colors, different angles of your photos, maybe put some before and afters. You don't want to post the same exact photo or of the same type of haircut every time, because that might show the shop owner oh, okay, he only knows how to cut one type of hair texture, or he only likes doing this type of hair. They want someone who's going to be versatile, who could, any walk-in that comes in, whatever hair texture or hair style they're going for, right, that you are comfortable doing that, right? Because you will be a reflection of that barbershop owner's shop. And so you obviously want to represent the shop well. Obviously, they'll be grace and they know you're fresh out of school, so you don't have to be perfect, but create a portfolio and make it a diverse portfolio that represents different types of haircuts and hairstyles to show your versatility. If you're in school and you're I don't have that, then if you're in school, talk to your instructor and say, hey, I'd like to do, I haven't really cut this type of hair. I want to learn. And so maybe if a walk-in comes, just say, hey, I haven't had a chance to cut this type of hair yet. I'd like to do that. A walk-in comes in, maybe your instructor can send the walk-in your direction to give you a different experience, or to give you more, practice doing a different type of texture. If you're in barber school and you're just doing the same type of haircut over and over again, I challenge you to consider, don't be a one-trick pony, right? You want to be good at as many different aspects of barbering as possible, so that you can serve anybody who sits in your chair, regardless of hair texture, color, and what style they're going for. All right, so you create a portfolio. Next up, I'd say, now this is again before you even reach out to anyone. This next step is list out all of the barbershops in your city. So, get out a piece of paper and pen and write out all of the barbershops. If you're having trouble listing them all out, get in Google Maps and just search, barbershops in my city, and just make sure you have them all listed out. From there, I'd start looking at who they are and what they're about. Go to their Instagram and see their style, see what kind of haircuts they do. If they have a website, go to their website, get to know the owner. If you can kind of learn more about their story or how long have they been opened, go onto their Google, their Google listing and read reviews. Go to their Yelp and read those reviews. If you to get advanced, you can go actually in Google and you can create like a map. You can save maps. And so what you can do is save each barbershop as a location and like add it to, barbershops in my city map. And you can start to actually look and see, okay, where are each of these shops located? Is it a strategic part in the city? Is it accessible? What's it near? What's the shopping center? Is it close to where I live? Like, what's parking? Do you have to pay for parking? Is it parking free? Even just list them all out just to make sure that you have all of them, so that if you're, oh, I didn't even know that this shop existed. Like you don't want that to be the case after you pick where you're going to work. Like you want to, I'd say, list out all the options there, and for you just kind of understand like lay of the land, and do your due diligence. So list out all the barbershops in your city and do your research to get to know and kind of see, what their web presence looks like. And don't just gravitate towards a shop that maybe your friend is at or someone that you know. Like I'd say still take the time to do the research and see who is all there. All right, next now is try to start to fill in the gaps of this return on investment, right? You want to know the facts and the numbers and the money. So you can do some of these things without even talking to anyone at the shop. Like when you're online doing research, see what their haircut price is. A lot of them will be public, obviously. Hopefully it's public, where you can see what a haircut is, what a skin fade is, like how much is a beard trim. Are they doing like straight razor shaves? Do they offer any other types of services? If they do, then that's something that maybe you need to prepare for. If they ask, hey, this is a part of our service list, can you do it? And if you can't, then you actually might not be a great fit, or they might be like, okay, well, we're going to have to teach you how to do these things. So look and see what their average prices are and fill that out if you can. And then the other questions that you're going to want to answer, and this might be where you start, reaching out to them and try to go in to have a conversation with a shop owner. Or if you know someone that's there, then you could reach out to them, just through like a DM. You don't necessarily have to go into the shop. You don't want to disrupt them while they're busy with clients. So you just reach out to them on Instagram and just introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Matthew. I'm graduating, in June. I'm starting to, look for a shop maybe to work at. And, I saw your shop online. I know about you guys and love what you guys are doing, and just wanted to introduce myself. Depending on that, then hopefully that can they might want you to come in to actually have a conversation. They've probably looked at your Instagram pages to see who is this person. And when you go have a conversation with them, this is where you want to start asking some detailed questions. You don't want it to just be shallow and them say, all right, you're done in June. Like, this is how much rent is. Come on in and, we'll get you started. Like, hopefully that's not the questions that they ask. If they give you an opportunity to be like, hey, do you have any questions? Like, you're the one who really should be driving the ship to figure out if this is a good place for you. So some questions that I'm just going to kind of go through for you to think about. And I think it's appropriate to ask these questions because, again, you want to make a good decision and have all the facts, so that you're not just going with your gut feeling, but you're actually looking at the numbers to see what makes financial sense. So some questions. All right, hey, average amount of haircuts in a day, would you say? How many haircuts do you do? How many haircuts does maybe one of your newer barbers do on average a day? You want to find out, is it 6, or is it 15, or is it 12, or is it 20? Like, those are major differences, right? You could ask, hey, how long have some of the barbers worked here? Like, what's your longest standing, barber? What's your newest barber? You'll be able to figure out, like, if, this guy's been here for 8 years, this guy's been here for 6 years, this guy's been here for 15 years, 20 years. Like, you can start to feel for the culture. Or if someone's saying, yeah, no, everyone's new, this guy's new, this guy's new, this guy's new. It's just something to kind of understand of what are you walking into. Next thing, how do walk-ins work? If you're new, you're starting out, is it a round robin? Like, you just take turns, someone walks in, someone takes this one, and the next one comes in, it goes to the next person? Or like, how do walk-ins work? Is there a priority? Obviously, because you're wanting to build your own clientele. Other questions, getting into kind of some more details. Obviously, there's the booth rent question. How much is booth rent? Is it paid weekly, daily, monthly? What about commission? Is it commission? Like, what's the commission split? You could ask, all right, if I'm paying this rent or this is what commission is, what's all included in that? Are you providing back bar supplies? Are you providing product that I can use on my clients? Am I responsible for bringing in, certain supplies like clipper side? Like, what is it that the shop is going to provide to me, that's included in the rent or in the commission that I'm paying you? If there are product sales, that's something to ask. Hey, if I'm selling product sales, do I make a commission on that? Or am I responsible for selling my own product? Do I have freedom to sell my own products? Or what does that look like? Talk about your schedule. Hey, how does my schedule work? Is it a set schedule? Can I create my own schedule? Do I get a key? Can I come in whenever I want? Or is this like, no, I need to be here, Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5, or like how does the schedule work? If I'm not able to come in, how does vacation work, or how do sick days work? Like, do I communicate with you? Like, what does, vacation time or time off look like? Software, ask them about software. How does booking work? How does appointments work? Do you have a system that you're using? Do I have to use the system, or do I have the freedom to use my own booking system? Will my booking system be live on your website, or do I have to just run it through my own Instagram page? Like, can I create my own website and have my clients go there? Like, you want to understand kind of the web presence and the booking flows. Even questions like, okay, if I'm using your booking system, do I have the ability to download my client list, that I have access to them? If I want to send an email out, or email blast or text blast out to my clients, like, do I have the freedom to do that? It's kind of that ownership over client data. Do you have access to it? So yeah, those are pretty detailed questions, but you want to know those things, because again, like, they're going to help you to understand envision what it would be like to work there. What are all of the, dot your I's and cross your T's. What are the details of all being a part of the shop? Next, that was a lot. But I don't know. You might be thinking like that was overkill, but these are things that I wanted to know. Because I honestly, by the end of me asking a lot of these questions, specifically about the numbers, I legit had a sheet that told me, all right, this is the price per haircut. If I do, 170 haircuts in a month, or like 250 haircuts in a month, that's going to make me this much. And if this is rent, then this is what my actual revenue is going to be. And so I was able to kind of map it out to be like, okay, this shop, I might pay a little bit more in rent, but based off of the numbers, they're saying I'm going to be able to do more haircuts. And so I was like, I think I'm paying more, but I'm going to cut more. And I think I'm going to, net more money in the long run. So I was able to actually look at a lot of those numbers to compare fresh out the gate, like what the income would look like. And obviously it might be off a little bit, but try to do the best that you can, just so you kind of understand what you're getting into. The next one, and this isn't something that you can, this isn't a number. It's not a data point. This is just, I think, more feel. So it's the question about culture, right? Who is there, right? Who works there? What is the culture? What is the vibe? What is the decor, right? When you walk into the shop, what is the sense that you're getting? Imagine being a client walking into the shop. Is it a place that has a nice, seating area, or is it welcoming? Like, when you walk into the shop, are you greeted? Like, were you greeted when you walked in? Like, just what is the culture? What is the vibe? Other things like, how long has this shop been there? Is this like an OG shop where people can literally close their eyes and walk down the street and know exactly where the shop is? Or is it a, new kid on the block, a newer shop that's really trying to make their mark on the city and trying to bring something new in? Who do you want to learn from? Are there barbers there that you really respect and admire? Maybe you've been following them on Instagram and you're like, man, their work is super dope. Like, I would love to work with them. And just, when I'm not cutting, I get a chance to watch them cut and pick their brain. Like, that's a good question to ask, because you're forever learning, right? You're not going to be fresh out of school and being like, oh, I got everything figured out. So who do you want to learn from? Another one is, what types of clients come to the shop? Think about it. Like, does it align with what you want when you envision your clientele or the type of clientele that you'd like to have? Like, is it a shop that is really only cutting one type of hair or one type of hairstyle? Or does it feel more versatile? Like, when you think about the barbers that are on the roster, are all of them like more doing the same type of haircut, hairstyle, or is it diverse? Like, Jay Majors actually talks about this. He's obviously probably know Jay, the founder of CT Barber Expo. He talked about this one time on an interview where when he's creating his, barber lineup, he owns a barbershop and academy. And he was like, he wanted to have as diverse as a team as possible. Like, he wanted to have a Latino barber and a black barber and an Asian barber, a white barber, wanted to have a female barber, barbers who can cut long hair, who can do short hair, who could do color. Like, he essentially wanted it to where anybody any type of person, whatever background, whatever hair texture they had, whatever skin tone they have, they can walk into the shop and feel like there's somebody on this roster that I feel comfortable with, sitting in their chair, for them to cut my hair. If your roster looks the same, even like physically, then visibly, like, there might be some clients who walk in and are not comfortable, being in that setting because they're like, I don't know if I want to get my cut by anybody here. And so that's something even to think about, is who is there, what is the culture, what is the vibe, what types of clients come to the shop, does that align with what you want, what's the value that you're going to be even bringing into the shop. And so just some things to think about. So when you're doing all this, like, take notes, after you do every interview, like, when you go talk to people, but take immense notes so that at the end you can stop and look back and really compare, what would be the best place for you. All right. That was a lot. Went a little over 20 minutes again, but the topic of where should you work? Hopefully this is valuable for you. And if I said something you don't agree with, let me know. I love to hear feedback, just as I continue to have this kind of checklist of sorts. I would love to hear if you thought I was on or if you thought I was off. All right. Cool. Thanks for listening to another one of Beyond Barber School. We will see you next time. All right. Take care. Peace.